Welcome Reckless Wanderers, it's Robert here, and here's another softcore build guide that can be set up for very little money and that's insanely fun to play. And that's the Railgun. It's a shadow that uses Ice Shot together with Point Blank and the unique bow Chinsol to obliterate enemies in its path. And the way this works is that we're using as much area of effect that we can get to create a cone of destruction. We're supporting our Ice Shot that initially deals physical damage and to convert some of it to cold, with Hatred and Herald of Ash for further scaling of the initial physical damage. We're also supporting our Ice Shot with weapon elemental damage, physical projectile attack damage, increased area of effect, and increased critical strikes to get as much conversion as we can get in our cone. In the cone, everything is converted into elemental damage, and we're using Pyre to convert all the cold damage we have into fire damage, which means the cone damage is completely fire. This doesn't seem to be very effective for the initial target we're hitting, but every enemy that's struck behind the initial target in the cone will suffer from massive damage and eventually also get ignited, and then it burns to death. So this is basically a burn build without the necessity of going proliv, which is also not really possible with the Pyre unique ring. This build is very effective against high HP mobs. Once positioned correctly, basically the idea is to get yourself in front of the weak mob and have the high HP mob in the cone behind him, so that he suffers from the cone damage. Because this character is very squishy and very likely to die to reflect, we're using a low-level castman damage taken together with Blood Rage to give ourselves a little bit of leech when needed. Blood Rage is linked to less duration, so we are not suffering too much from the degeneration effect. Because we're using Vaal Pact, we also cannot have regeneration itself. To further have more leech, we're using Exile Promise, which is a great offensive and defensive last because it adds extra 25% chaos damage based off our huge elemental damage pool. And some of that chaos damage is then leached back as life instantly, which is also great in boss fights like this. In terms of items and skills, we're having our main skill Ice Shot, as I mentioned already, linked together with physical projectile attack damage, weapon elemental damage, increased critical strikes, and increased area of effect. To boost the area effect, we are wearing a Carcass Jack that gives us area damage and area radius, and Hyre's Bite, which also has area radius. Chinsol, our bow of choice, causing the majority of our damage. It also holds our single target with the Vaal Burning Arrow, and this supports Trap, Pierce, and increased critical strikes. Pyre is used to convert all the cold damage we have into fire damage and increase the burning damage that we're dealing. And then we have our auras and buffs, Hatred and Herald of Ash. Then we have our curse setup, which consists of Assassin's Mark, Lightning Arrow, greater multiple projectiles, and Curse on Hit, granting us power charges and castman damage taken Blood Rage with less duration and Enfeeble. Blood Rage also gets us Frenzy charges, and we are manually casting Enduring Cry to get endurance charges. The other items are High Life, High Resist, attack speed, accuracy rating on the gloves, movement speed on the boots, ally damage on the belt, Rustic Sash base of course, and on the rings, and on the remaining ring and on the amulet as much damage and defensive stats that we can get. In terms of the passive tree, we are starting as a shadow, getting the physical projectile nodes, going through coordination over quickness into the blood siphon cluster, blood drinker cluster, sorry, going down, getting the herbalism and spirit void, which solves our mana problems, and then traveling all the way down past Point Blank. We won't grab it right now, we will grab it when we get Chinsol. Go into the duelist area, grab all the damage, all the Gladiator and bravery. If you need, you have more life at the thick skin cluster available, and also at the top of the shadow section with Blood, Siphon and Trickery. Then we go down to the ranger area and grab all the juicy damage over there. And whenever we need more life, there's something at the top of the shadow section as well. And then it's time to pick up damage, critical damage, bow damage, whatever you can get. Also the piercing cluster provides a good bit of extra damage with Ice Shot. And then we have accuracy and critical strike, chance and crit multi wherever we can grab it. Another power charge together with the Bandit reward, which is a power charge in the end. And acrobatics, phase acrobatics, and a little bit more damage in the ranger area. Point blank I recommend to pick up once you're level 62 and you can equip Chainsaw. Overall, this character was very fun to play. I'm leaving you here now with some gameplay footage from a level 76 precinct map, still an old one. And you see that the character is very capable of destroying both packs as well as bosses once they're lined up correctly. Although the squishiness, it's a very fun build to play. When you use your flasks cleverly, you will never have problems and always be able to leech back any incoming damage. The traps make lockboxes fun to play with because it just obliterates big portions of packs, and also exiles are not a problem with this build either. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope to see you in game. This is Robert. Have a good one.